my name is Eric Halfaker, and I'm with the Last Frontier Adventure Club. And today I want to talk a little bit about packing your backpack. We have two backpacks here. We've got a REI Flash 45, which is a 45-liter pack, and a REI XT 85, which is a 85-liter pack. I'm going to pack this one as I would for lightweight backpacking, and on both of these packs I'm going to do an overnight load, and then I'm going to pack this one as I would a more traditional load. So we're going to have a little bit heavier stuff and a little bit more clothing and things of that nature. This is the load for our traditional pack. Some of the things that are different: we got a synthetic sleeping bag. It's a 20-degree bag. We have a full-length Thermarest mattress. Some more odds and ends than we would carry if we were lightweight backpacking, and a full change of clothes, which is something that we would not bring if we were trying to go lightweight. This is our load for the lightweight pack. You'll notice there's actually a lot less stuff, definitely a lot less clothing. We don't bring an entire change of clothes when we're lightweight backpacking because it's not something that we need. We have a down sleeping bag. We have a much lighter weight one-man tent as opposed to the two-man tent that we have on the other side. In both cases, the load that you see, obviously that's going to have to change depending on where you're going and what you're doing and what time of year it is, but the principles should still apply one way or the other. And part of the reason we're doing both packs is to show that no matter how much gear you're carrying, some of the principles remain universal. First thing I'm going to do with this pack is I'm going to line it with a trash bag. That's going to keep all of our gear dry in the event that we get rained on really heavily or we accidentally dunk in a creek or something. And then once I've done that, the thing that we want to put in the bottom is the sleeping bag. And just to illustrate real quick here, you want to think about your pack in terms of trying to keep the heaviest things right in the middle and close to your back, and then getting lighter as you progress away from that. And so our sleeping bag is light, so what we're going to do is put it down right at the bottom of the bag to fill it up. You'll notice I'm not using a stuff sack. A lot of people say that you need one. In fact, most people are going to want to use a stuff sack, but I've found that I can actually pack my pack better if I don't. The next thing I'm going to put in is I've got this bag here that has the tent fly and the tent body in it. A lot of times I would go ahead and take that out of the stuff sack as well so it could take up the space, but I'm just going to go ahead and jam this down in there. Since it's a little bit denser and heavier than the sleeping bag, it's going to go just above the sleeping bag. Before we go any further, this pack actually has a hydration bladder. It's important to note that's got to go in the sleeve that runs right down along the back there. And some people might be tempted to put that on top. I've seen other people pack their packs that way. But actually, water is about the densest thing you're going to have in your pack unless you're carrying lead or something. So right there in that bladder, it puts it right about here in the pack, right dead center between your shoulder blades. That's a perfect place for something that dense. I'm going to run the hose out the side here through the hydration port. The next thing we're going to want to do is get as much of the dense, heavy stuff as we can into the pack, close to the back. And first thing we got is we got our pot, and this is completely empty. We'll take the stove, set it in here. We're actually going to cram some of the clothing that we've got here in there as well. Go ahead and put that down into the pack, trying to keep it where it goes. And we're going to take fuel, which is the next heaviest thing. Go ahead and jam that in there. And then we've got all these clothes, and we've got some food and toiletries. We're going to take our food, cram it down along the side wherever it'll go there. And then we've got our toiletries. We're throwing these in here because we're not going to need those until we set camp, so we don't need real access to them at any point on the trail. We've got a spare shirt. That's going to go in here. We're going to set aside our raincoat and our extra warm top though, and then we'll put the extra pants and base layer in. Go ahead and jam those down wherever they'll fit. And then at this point, actually we're going to put the shoes in there too first. Okay, and at this point we're going to go ahead and close up the garbage bag on top and just kind of twist it and fold it over and push it down. The last thing I'm going to want in the body of the pack is this Thermarest. and I've got it actually folded in half hot dog style and then rolled up. The idea being that so long as I can get it into the pack, it's going to be more protected from anything that might pop it, like going through the brush and hooking a stick or something. Go ahead and cinch that down. Now some of the things that we've got, we're going to want to have immediate access to if we need them. Toilet paper is one of those things, you just absolutely have to have that. Now I have it in a Ziploc bag. I'm going to suck the air out and then seal it off, and that makes it compact, easier to put in there. Also got my lighter in that Ziploc bag. I've got that with the toilet paper, so in case I have to start a fire real fast, I've got toilet paper and a lighter handy, ready to go. Putting that in one of these top pouches here. I'm also going to go ahead and throw some of the snacks that I might want along the trail so that I can have them ready and handy. I've got a knife here. That's something I'm going to want relatively close at hand most times. Let's see. Also got a headlamp, another thing I might want at a moment's notice. This one doesn't actually have to be waterproof really particularly. It's fairly water resistant, so I'm going to go ahead and just stick it in there. I'll zip that one up. On the other side, I've got a water filter. This is something that you're going to use multiple times on the trail. So that's going to go ahead and go into this pocket here. I've got a spork, which just needs a home, so I'll go ahead and throw that in there, kind of back behind the water filter so it's cushioned and protected. I'm going to zip that up. I've got a first aid kit, which I'm going to want to have somewhere where I can get access to it immediately. So I'm actually putting it into this side pouch and then tightening it in there. Now on this side of the pack, I'm going to go ahead and stuff this empty water bottle, which is to filter into when we get to a place where we need water, into this side pocket here. And then I've got the stakes and the tent poles, which I'm also going to put vertically along the side, and then go ahead, cinch that down, hold all that together, and then I'm going to use this strap here to come across and hold those tent stakes firmly in place. I'll cinch that down. And then we're going to go ahead and pull down all the compression straps real tight. That's important because it keeps your load real secure and tight to your back, and the closer and tighter it is into your back, the less it's going to throw off your balance. The last couple of things I got here is I have a digital camera. I'm going to put that inside this dry sack to keep it protected, as well as this pad of paper, even though it's right in the rain paper. And then I am going to go ahead and try and keep all the air out of that, but go ahead and just kind of loosely roll it up before I stuff it into the lid of the backpack, which is going to be a good place to have a camera so I can get it out as quickly as I need it. I'm also going to go ahead and stuff this cup into the lid of the pack so I've got a home for it. The last thing I'm going to do is I've got my warm layer and my raincoat. I'm going to put the warm layer into the raincoat, fold it up in there so that it's protected, and then I'm just going to roll that up, and that's going to go right on top of the pack but underneath the lid so that when I need to get it out, I've got it available to me. And then I'll actually use the lid and its straps to hold it securely in place. So here we've got our fully loaded overnighter REI XT85. This is a traditional style pack with a traditional style load. Let's go ahead and move on to our lightweight pack. Now on this one I've got a 35-liter dry bag, which I'm actually going to just shove down in there like I did the trash bag on the other one. Again, with our lightest thing, which is actually going to be our down sleeping bag, significantly lighter than synthetic, but also a lot less tolerant to becoming wet. We'll just pack that down into the bottom as tightly as we can. And I actually am this time going to go ahead and take the fly and the tent body and the stakes out of the stuff sack and stuff those in right on top of our sleeping bag since they're a little bit denser. I'm going to take the tent poles out of their stuff sack, and these I'm actually just going to run in the pack down alongside everything. Then I'll take the stakes and kind of pin them in behind the bag there so that they're close to my back. Got a few other things I need to keep dry, but we want to get some heavy stuff in there now. So I'm going to take my fuel, and this is a titanium pot with a titanium stove and a aluminum windscreen in there. Okay, and I'll go ahead and put those right up against my back there at the back of the pack. Inside the dry bag, of course, so that if it rains I can still light those things. Got some clothing. The only clothing I'm bringing is a base layer for the night, and then I've got some nice warm wool socks. Everything else that I would be wearing when I'm lightweight backpacking is synthetic and would dry out overnight enough to wear the next day. Stuff those down in there. And then I'm going to finish it off with my Thermarest, which this is only a 3/4 length Thermarest, which makes it much lighter, smaller, more compact. I'm going to roll the top on the dry bag, make sure that everything inside of it stays dry. And the last thing I've got to shove in there is we've got these 2 bags of food I'm going to shove down behind everything else, since those are fairly dense. I got another dry bag here, a little bit smaller one. I'm going to go ahead and stuff my down insulative layer in there because it's very warm, light, and compressible. But again, it does not stand up to water very well. My raincoat's going to go in that same bag. Then this goes right in the top of the main body of the pack so that it's accessible. The other thing that's going to go in there is I have a 2-liter spare platypus bottle. That's for me to filter into. And I just want to have that up at the top so that when I stop when I'm getting close to camp, I've got that ready to go. And the rest of the stuff, I've got some snacks. I'm going to put them in this last tiny dry bag. And I've also got my little 1-battery headlamp. That's also going to go in there. And then the last few things I've got a little lighter, a spork, a little Leatherman knife, and then I've got a roll of toilet paper that is only partial because I'm going overnight and I pulled the core out of, inside of a Ziploc bag, inside of a dry bag, because I want to make sure that none of that stuff gets wet at all. I'll go ahead and roll that up. And then that goes into the lid of my pack, where I'm going to have the best access to it. And the last thing that goes into the lid of my pack that I'm going to need access to is I've got my water filter, which is a squeeze filter. And whenever I need water, I'm going to have to pull that out. So it goes up into the lid with the rest of the important stuff there. And then I'm going to put my camera into my hip belt pocket here, because this is a waterproof camera, a little bit smaller and lighter than the one I had in that other load, and doesn't need to be waterproofed. So it can go there. And actually the last thing I'm going to put in is this bottle of water, which is what I'm drinking. I don't have a hydration bladder in this one because I think the hose is kind of unnecessary. So that's just going to go right in there alongside in the webbing. Now the last thing I'm going to do is go ahead and strap everything down tight, cinch it, pull out anything that's not buckled down just as tight as it can be. And then there is our lightweight backpack. I've got my lightweight pack here and I got my more traditional pack. These are both packed up, ready to go. Obviously you might be bringing some different things than what I brought. One thing that I definitely did not pack in this, or show paying packed in this, is I've got a lightweight adventure medical kit that would need to be in this pack before I went anywhere. But I didn't find it before we made this video. So yeah, I mean, you can see the size difference, and realistically this one actually has a lot of the very same stuff, just lighter and smaller versions of it. And honestly, when I stopped camping like this and started camping like this, I'm no less comfortable now than I was then. I'm just a lot more comfortable on the trail. So yeah, so that's pretty much it. Go ahead and leave your comments about what you would do differently or what your techniques are. We'd love to hear about it. And until next time, happy hiking.